Hey guys, what's up? 2-Bit Jesus here, and time for another 2-Bit Talks. And it's been a while since I've done this. Um, Again, apologize. I mean, I got my job and I had been busy with that, and we had moved, and there was all that happened in August. But also, be honest, the election. The election happened. And I'm a very political guy. And whenever there's a national election, I kind of go all in and I get into it. I mean, I'm already into politics anyway. It's a daily thing for me. It's one of my big things is politics, in particular geopolitics. So for me, this is a weekly, daily thing for me. But especially during election season, it's almost like my Super Bowl, if you will. You know how people tune into the World Series or the Super Bowl and they get all into it. Well, that's how I am for politics and elections. But anyway, I was thinking about a video idea, and I thought this would be a good one. And it's about the gaming community, and in particular the YouTube gaming community, which I am a part of. And a question that's bothered me is why during this whole election cycle everyone was mum on it, and even a couple of big YouTubers that I watch. I mean, I heard one sit there and say that, oh, they're both terrible, and so I just don't care. I feel that's lazy. I hate it when I hear that from people. Oh, it's just the lesser of two evils, or oh, they're both terrible. You're just lazy, and you don't really want to look into their policies and kind of how it would affect you and the people you know, and maybe even people you don't know. And it just kind of steamed me. It just a little bit irked me a little bit, I should say, that the gaming community as a whole just didn't care and just seems disconnected from the rest of the world and politics. Well, let's put it this way, okay? We now have a President-elect Trump, and some of the policies he has put forward, like renegotiating trade agreements, throwing out some trade agreements, and more importantly, raising tariffs on manufacturing countries. You know what that's going to do, right? Let's break it down, especially, the tariffs part. Because with the tariff, say you want to import something, they're going to put a tax on it to come into the country if it's coming from another country, especially a manufacturing country. And then that in turn is going to raise the price on it. More importantly, putting tariffs on manufacturing countries, like hefty ones, like on China, well, guess what? PS4s, Xboxes, your controllers, and even, the CDs of your video games, all of that, it's manufactured in China. It's manufactured in Taiwan, manufactured in Mexico, and a bunch of other countries. And if there's going to be a tax levied on these products being imported into the country, well, the manufacturers are going to have to turn around and increase the price on the retailers, and the retailers, like Target, GameStop, and all of them, are going to have to increase the price so they don't lose money on you, the consumer. So it does affect you. It is important to pay attention to the candidates, in my opinion, on this, because it directly affects you with your video games. And I was going to say that. I want that to be another one of my points here, is it seems like the video game community only gets involved in politics when it directly affects what they do in their video games when it comes to censorship, which, by the way, President-elect Trump has towed that what I always like to call the old person or the soccer mom line, that violent video games lead to violent people. And so it bothers me that that's the only time that people are engaged in the video game community and even the YouTube video game community, is when it directly affects them. And I think you should be more engaged. Now, I'm not saying to get out there and go, oh yeah, Trump, you need to vote for him, or oh yeah, Hillary, you should have voted for her. I'm not saying to go out and campaign for the individual candidates, but I am saying to at least get engaged and know what's going on, because I really felt like the video game community, one, did not care about what was going on, and two, did not know anything that was going on. I could be wrong. These people, especially these big YouTubers in private, could be very engaged and very, in tune. And to that, I say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. But what you showed on your channels and all that is that you weren't engaged and you really didn't know anything that was going on from the brief things that I've seen some of them talking about. Now, I'm just using a broad brush here. I don't want to really single anyone out that I've watched, but a lot of the big YouTubers, that's what they've done, and I feel like you could have done a little bit more. You could be a little bit more engaged. I think it would strengthen the video game community if we did get a little bit more engaged and a little bit less inward facing or inward looking. If we were a little less inward looking to ourselves and just in our own little worlds, I think it would help greatly if the video game community got engaged in politics. And I'm not saying like all the time politics, but at least got engaged, knew what was going on, maybe even took a side on an issue, and even started networking with other communities and helping them out too, and forwarding their cause if it aligned with the community's opinions as a whole. And when we ran up against a wall, say if it was game censorship, or if it was say a guy, say a Republican, government putting tariffs on manufacturing countries and raising the prices of video game products in the process. We would have other communities that we've networked with and made ties with would come in and they would help us out. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's more to the world than this little community. And while I'm not saying that we should dedicate our entire lives or even dedicate time with our hobby, say, our hobby is playing video games, dedicate everything to politics and campaigning or, raising awareness, I'm not saying 100% that's what we need to start doing, but I am saying we need to start at least doing a little bit of that, expanding a little bit. Not being so inward looking, not just focused on the next system that's coming out and all that, because these things are important, all right? These issues affect all of us, and I really think the video game community as a whole could be a very positive impact if we engaged more than we did, because I just felt this whole election cycle, the community totally sat out on it. And I don't think it's necessary to endorse a candidate or to really like dedicate your channel to a political cause or anything like that. But I think, at least acknowledging those things, at least maybe expressing concern over certain issues that might not be a part of video games, might be outside of video games, but at least engaging and connecting with other communities, I think would be a great thing. It would have a positive impact, It would probably get rid of a lot of negative stereotypes of the video game community, and we would gain allies from other communities, I think, if we got engaged with them and found common ground on issues to go after. But yeah, I know this was a long ramble. It's probably going to be a lot of editing on my part. But just at the end of the day, that's just how I feel. I really do feel the video game community as a whole really dropped the ball this election cycle. We really did. We didn't, I maybe I'm wrong, and there were some that went out there and did it. I do know one big YouTuber I follow on Twitter, he was very active about it. But as a community as a whole, I really didn't see much going on. And I don't think that's a good thing. And I hope the next election cycle, maybe we are more involved. And I'm a small channel, so hardly anyone's going to watch this anyway. But that's how I feel, and I wanted to make a video and kind of express my opinion on it. And with that said, we'll be coming out with some more videos, focusing on some more video games here for you guys. And this will probably be one of the last, or not last, but one of the few times that you talk politics with old 2-Bit. And with that said, guys, I hope you stay safe and play on.